Thanks, Ceann Corla, and I think the discussions we've had so far show that electoral considerations down here are more important to some of the deputies than the actual reality on the ground in Northern Ireland, and I am happy to talk about the situation there. I suppose I'm privileged to be part of a cross-party group of TDs and senators who've taken it upon ourselves over the past period to engage in multiple visits to the prisons of Northern Ireland, especially Maghaberry, but to deal with issues of injustice there. And I want to put on the record that the failure of the prison management to address the issues flowing from and their failure to implement the stocktake agreement in Maghaberry is a serious destabilizing situation in the north, for which I'm beginning to wonder now, do they want a heavy price to be paid for it? When we go and meet the prisoners and we meet loyalists and nationalists, in some ways the concerns that those prisoners have are very similar, and both groups feel that they've nobody to represent them. The loyalist prisoners feel that the Republican prisoners have got everything their own way, that because of the peace process that some of the voices from the nationalist community are now in the mainstream and that their issues are getting addressed. But then you meet the Republican prisoners who think that their views have been sold out. And I think it's against that backdrop, really, that we need to look at the scandal which has convulsed Northern society over the past number of weeks with the revelations around the NAMA scandal. Because, to my mind, what we have in Northern Ireland is an unusual arrangement, a dysfunctional society which operates on as a sort of a sectarian balancing act, with both groups claiming to represent the viewpoint for their community, but actually no ordinary people in both communities getting left behind. And when revelations come into the public domain about the upper echelons of the Northern political system being linked in with big business and massive profiteering at the expense of the taxpayer, then that is going to have political ramifications. It's a small part of the country. I honestly wonder how such behaviour could have gone unnoticed over the past period. And the only answer I can give is that it didn't go unnoticed, but that people on maybe both sides of the sectarian divide, maybe diplomatically in Britain or in the South, felt it was better to have certain people in place rather than having that process undermined. And that is a very, very dangerous and unhelpful attitude if that is the case. I think it's quite clear that Northern politicians have been very involved in the NAMA process from the beginning. That's absolutely clear, despite the protestations of Coulter today. There has been an attempt made by NAMA to say that the Project Eagle portfolio was a poor one. The reality here is this is the biggest transaction in the history of the state. It wasn't a poor portfolio, and the idea that we couldn't have got more money for that is quite simply laughable. Not only did they not get potentially an extra $1 billion off it, they didn't even recover the amount of money that they paid for that portfolio to begin with. And do you not think it's strange, Minister, if we compare it to, for example, the purchase of the ESAT licence by Denis O'Brien? The issue at the heart of that, which led to a tribunal, was not necessarily the price paid, but that corrupt payments had been made to a politician in order to get that contract. Now, similar allegations have been made here. They are not a matter of dispute. No, I haven't. It's a matter of full public record in the PAC and confirmed by the parties that €15 million were set aside. Tuan's legal firm have confirmed that they retrieved the $7 million. They were supposedly only employed for 4 weeks. Is this the complex legal arrangements? It must have been very complex to get a payment of $7 million for 4 weeks' work, and it doesn't raise a concern with you must be absolutely joking. It's an absolute scandal. And the idea that the PAC, or indeed the Northern Ireland Finance Committee, because I think it serves certain people's interest to have those committees looking at these affairs because they haven't got the expertise to examine them. If that expertise was there, why do we have a banking inquiry? Why didn't you just let the Finance Committee look at it? Why was there a separate investigation into the penalty points and into the Gearing Commission, considering the PAC had already looked at it? These are big money projects which have a huge impact on the taxpayer in this state, and I really think that you should be asking these questions. When NAMA took the decision to remove PIMCO from that process, what statutes do you think was breached? Did it include the NAMA Act? Did it include the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act in the United States, and so on? This story is only starting. It has an enormous potential to further destabilise the situation in the north, and it's going to transfer to this side of the border.